The message appeared at
There's a car
2:17 in the
behind
morning.
us. It's been following
Emily
for
wasn't supposed to
miles.
see
What?
it.
Are you sure?
She had only
I'm
reached for
sure.
David's
I'm
phone
taking
because
the
her
next
own battery had
exit.
died and she needed to set an early alarm for work. Normally, she never touched his phone. Their marriage had always been built on trust. Or at least, that's what she believed. The screen lit up in the dark bedroom. A notification appeared. "I miss you already. Tonight was perfect, red heart, Claire." Emily's fingers froze. For a moment she convinced herself it had to be a mistake. Maybe Claire was a coworker. Maybe they had been planning some office project. But her heart already knew the truth. Slowly, she opened the message. And what she saw made the room feel smaller. Weeks of conversations. Late-night flirting. Photos. Plans to meet again. Even a message from David earlier that night. She has no idea. Don't worry. Emily felt something inside her chest quietly break. The man sleeping peacefully beside her. The man she had loved for 9 years, the man she had built a life with, had been lying to her. Tears slid down her cheeks silently. But she didn't wake him. She didn't scream. She didn't throw the phone at his face. Instead, she placed the phone back on the nightstand and stared at the ceiling until morning. By the time the sun rose, Emily had made a decision. And it wasn't what anyone would expect. The next evening, David came home from work looking tired. Emily greeted him with a warm smile. "Hey," she said casually. David looked relieved. "Hey, babe." He kissed her forehead the way he always did. The same kiss that once made her feel safe. Now it felt like a lie. "I was thinking about something," Emily said while preparing dinner. David loosened his tie. "What's that?" Emily turned toward him. "What if we took a road trip?" David blinked. "A road trip?" "Yeah. Just us. Like we used to." He studied her face. For a split second, Emily wondered if he suspected something. But then he smiled. "That actually sounds amazing." Inside, Emily felt the bitter taste of irony. Of course it sounded amazing to him. A vacation with the wife who apparently had no idea. "Let's leave this weekend," she suggested. David nodded eagerly. Yeah, that sounds perfect." Perfect. Emily almost laughed. 2 days later, they packed the car. David loaded their suitcases into the trunk while Emily double-checked their route on her phone. Their destination? A small coastal town 8 hours away. A place where they had once celebrated their first anniversary. David seemed nostalgic as they started driving. "Remember the last time we went there?" he asked. Emily nodded softly. "You said it was the happiest week of your life." David smiled. "It still is." Emily kept her eyes on the road. He lied so easily. And that scared her more than anything. The first few hours of the drive were peaceful. Music played quietly. They talked about old memories, funny stories, and random things they saw on the road. To anyone watching, they looked like a happy couple on vacation. But inside Emily's mind, every mile was part of a plan. Every stop had a purpose. And David had no idea where this trip was really going. Around lunchtime they stopped at a small roadside diner. David stretched his arms. "Man, I forgot how good road trips feel." Emily watched him carefully. He looked relaxed. Happy. As if nothing in their marriage was broken. They ordered burgers and sat near the window. For a moment Emily simply observed him. The way he laughed. The way he checked his phone when he thought she wasn't looking. The way guilt didn't seem to touch him at all. Finally she asked quietly. "David, are you happy?" He looked surprised. "Of course I am." "Why?" Emily shrugged. "Just wondering." David reached across the table and squeezed her hand. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. Emily smiled politely. But inside she felt something turn cold. Because she knew exactly what message he had sent another woman just 2 nights earlier. Later that evening they checked into a small motel halfway to their destination. The same kind of place they used to stay during their younger, broke days. David flopped onto the bed. I missed this. Emily stood near the window, watching the sunset paint the sky orange. She remembered the messages again. The lies. The photos. The promise he made to Claire that he would leave his wife eventually. Eventually. Emily turned back toward him. Hey, David? Yeah. Tomorrow I want to stop somewhere special before we reach the coast. He smiled. Sure. Where? Emily paused for just a moment. A place where people usually tell the truth. David chuckled. Sounds mysterious. Emily returned his smile. Oh, it will be. And for the first time during the entire trip. David felt a small, strange chill run down his spine. The next morning, Emily woke up early. David was still asleep. His phone rested on the nightstand again. It buzzed quietly. A new message. Emily didn't even need to check to know who it was. But she did anyway. Claire. Do you miss me yet? Emily stared at the words for a long moment. Then she gently placed the phone back. Today was the day. They continued driving along the highway. The scenery slowly changed from cities to forests and open fields. David hummed along with the music playing in the car. You're in a good mood, Emily said. He grinned. Road trips bring out the best in me. Emily nodded. Yes, they reveal a lot about people. David glanced at her. Something about the way she said it sounded different. But before he could ask, Emily turned the car toward a small town exit. Where are we going? He asked. You'll see. 10 minutes later they stopped in front of a quiet building. David looked confused when he read the sign. Marriage Counseling Center. He laughed awkwardly. Wrong stop? Emily turned off the engine. No. David's smile slowly faded. Emily, what is this? She looked directly into his eyes. For the first time since discovering the messages. Her expression was completely calm. Get out of the car. They sat inside the counselor's office across from each other. David looked nervous now. What's going on? He asked. Emily reached into her purse and placed his phone on the table. The screen displayed the messages. Claire's name at the top. David's face went pale. The room fell completely silent. Finally he whispered. You saw that? Emily nodded. 2 nights ago. David ran his hands through his hair. Emily, She raised her hand. Don't lie. For the first time during their entire marriage. David looked truly afraid. The counselor spoke gently. David, your wife asked for this session today because she wanted a place where the truth could be spoken honestly. David stared at Emily. Why didn't you just confront me? Emily answered. Quietly. Because I wanted to see if you would tell me the truth first. He looked down. I was going to eventually. Emily almost smiled. That's exactly what you told her. David's head snapped up. You read everything? Yes. Every message. Every promise. Every lie. David's voice cracked. I messed up, but it didn't mean anything. Emily leaned back in her chair. That's interesting. He looked desperate. What do you mean? She spoke calmly. Because according to your messages, you were planning a future with her. David had no answer. The silence said everything. After a long pause, Emily stood up. Let's finish the trip. David blinked. What? You wanted a road trip. She picked up her purse. So let's keep going. David followed her outside, confused. Emily, wait, what does that mean? She opened the car door. It means you're going to learn something about consequences. They drove the final hours to the coastal town in silence. The ocean appeared on the horizon as the sun began to set. David finally asked, Why bring me here? Emily parked near the beach where they had celebrated their anniversary years ago. Waves crashed softly against the shore. Emily stepped out of the car. David followed slowly. This place used to mean everything to us, she said. He nodded sadly. I remember. Emily looked at the ocean. You proposed to me right there. David's voice shook. I know. She turned toward him. And you promised something. David couldn't meet her eyes. I promised to be faithful. Emily nodded. Yes. She removed her wedding ring. David's heart dropped. Emily. She placed the ring in his hand. You broke that promise. Tears filled his eyes. I can fix this. Emily shook her head softly. No. The ocean wind carried her words away. I planned this trip because I needed to see if the man I loved still existed. David whispered. And? Emily looked at him one last time. I think he disappeared a long time ago. Final message, life lesson. Sometimes betrayal doesn't end a relationship instantly. Sometimes it reveals the truth slowly, mile by mile. Trust takes years to build. But one lie can destroy it forever. And when someone realizes their worth, they stop begging for love that was never honest to begin with.